The Rode NTH-100M is a monitoring headset, and technically it's the NTH-100 with the included mic attachment. Now, it resembles a lot of gaming headsets out there, but does an audio recording focused headphone also mean it's great in gaming? And does the microphone stand up to Rode's reputation as a microphone company, despite the mic being smaller than a large fly? Starting with what you get in the box, there's the headphones in a cloth bag, which as usual I find relatively useless, but it's a nice to have, I suppose. You get a bag of color-coded bits used to indicate which wire is which, assuming you buy a bunch of this cable that comes with the NTH-100. It's a decent cable with an adapter and a locking capability onto the headphones, which comes in a length of 2.5 meters. The cable is great, but the issues I found are that the cable does have some microphonics. It's not horrible, just noticeable, especially when it's closer to the headphones directly without any audio playing. But if there was a pin to hold up the wire to my shirt, there's almost no microphonics at all. Second is the lack of a second wire that isn't 2.5 meters, which means it's a pocket full if you do plan on bringing the NTH-100 outside with the stock cable, which I have done. But to be fair, it isn't really meant for that purpose. Bringing me to the earpads, with what Rode calls Cooltech ear cushions. They're a soft and plush Alcantara material, and they do look pretty much brand new despite wearing them for months now. When in the summer heat, they actually keep cool. Not that they're cool feeling, they simply fail to get any hotter, even when I was starting to sweat into it. The ear cups themselves are nice and deep with a decent amount of swivel and tilt adjustment. While I despise the linear adjustment style of the FitLock headband, once it's locked in place, it doesn't move at all, which is where I've had problems with this style. Other than being a pain to get exactly equal sides, which is a set it once and you're done type of problem, bring me to the microphone portion from a microphone company. It's a solid plastic piece, meant to be attached on the right ear cup. The earphone is as minimal as it can get, but lacks adjustability. A ridiculous problem I personally found when I first started using the mic on the NTH-100 is that it was so small that I kept trying to bat it away every 30 or so minutes because I forgot I had a mic attachment and thought there was a fly in front of my face. It stopped happening after the first day. I guess the microphone head is about as small as a large fly, and I normally don't use boom-style headsets. I will get into the mic test later in the video. There is an included audio splitter if you are going to be connecting to a PC with a separate mic and audio jack. How does the NTH-100 that's meant for audio production fare in a gaming environment? Because they're meant for accurate sound reproduction, there is a great sense of separation between sounds where I was able to hear footsteps amid gunfire and massive explosions without too much concentration. In terms of soundstage, it feels like a small to medium auditorium where I can tell a difference between quiet sounds and far sounds, making it easier to gauge how far a sound is coming from, giving me the ability to more accurately tell how far a fight is occurring from sound alone. For imaging or directionality, the NTH-100 seems to be able to separate the direction of a sound in about 10 to 15 degree chunks, where the panning across feels smooth across the full 360 degrees, and even has a decent but hard to notice verticality to the sound, which I would consider top tier in terms of competitive shooters. The downside is the enjoyability factor. The bass has almost no rumble, but there is some punch. The treble doesn't have a lot of airiness or excitement, and I haven't been able to find any sibilance. You can tell a sharp sibilant sound exists, but it doesn't hurt the ears. Where it does shine for gaming is in the mids, with easy to pick out and listen to vocals, especially when you're in a dialogue heavy game with a lot of background sound, or even when you're trying to listen to voice communications in the middle of a firefight. Speaking of vocals, how does the microphone sound? Whether you're in game or at work, the mic sounds clear, and there isn't that crush old-timey radio feel. It can become a little too hot, peaking when you talk too loudly, but when in a low voice comes as a godsend as it picks it up just fine. On my personal computer, I did have to lower the volume because it was a little too loud. When working in a relatively noisy environment, it does reject sound well, because of the short pickup distance of the microphone. If you do plan on using the NTH-100 for working 8 hours straight, it's more than comfortable enough, and as I mentioned, the Cooltech earbuds do not get hot over an extended period of time, and nor do they sound fatiguing. As for how the sound feels, they are meant for production work with an accurate frequency response, meaning there isn't any strong coloration to the sound. The NTH-100 does sound fairly neutral, but not without any excitement or liveliness, more that it's toned down and nothing feels overdone. Bass doesn't have any rumble, but there is a nice punch with some pressure, ensuring that it never bleeds all over the mids, which I was able to tell in the track Who Cares by Sundial, while vocals and mids stand out clearly even against a crashing and busy background, as I found in the track Again by Flyleaf, where in many other headphones the vocals get lost. The treble does give off a nice sense of brilliance and airiness to the tracks while still allowing me to notice if something in the track is creating sibilance, where instead of sibilance it gives a fatiguing feeling instead of painfully piercing my ears, which I noticed in the track Would You Be So Kind by Dottie. The NTH-100 is one of the best headphones or headsets if you get the M version in both gaming and productivity, with great separation, soundstage, and slight emphasis on the vocals, allowing you to hear team communications in the middle of a busy background, serving you well for the people in the competitive gaming crowd. Plus, the microphone is what you would expect from a microphone company. In terms of the headphone sound signature for the intended purpose of audio mixing and monitoring, the NTH-100 isn't an annoyance to be worn over long periods, isn't highly colored, and has more than decent separation allowing sound isolation, making it great for mixing and even taking meetings with many other people talking over each other in call. While the NTH-100 does lack in color and excitement when listening to music, there are headphones that go more into the entertainment route, which you can check out in this video here. Make sure to subscribe for more content on tech and their ability for both productivity and gaming. I'm your host Naka. Have a nice one. This is my first headset with a boom mic in such a long time. I should check out headsets more.